And in the Impact segment tonight, we continue with our lead story, the IRS, the border in Iraq. Joining us from Washington, Mary Kathrine and Juan Williams, both are Fox News analysts. So, Juan, don't be a loon tonight, okay? Don't be a left-wing loon, okay? Now, I just went through methodically, and everything I said was absolutely true, all right?
Oh, is that right? Okay.
It's all in fact, all can be backed up. So, what kind of responsibility, Juan Williams, does President Obama bear for this Iraqi mess right now? What kind of responsibility?
Well, I'm not sure. In fact, I was concerned in your memo, you say, and I have not heard any Republican say we should have boots on the ground, but I thought Bill O'Reilly's getting pretty close there, and I think
no, it's
the
all
idea
about
that
air power, and I made it quite clear that that would be insane to put boots on the ground.
And again, with regard to air power, you can't just indiscriminately start using American air power and make it the Air Force for Maliki and the Iranians. I don't think the Iranians are our friends, and don't forget, our bombing of those terrorists right now would also help Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian leader, again, not a friend to us. So we've got to use our military power strategically.
Juan, I don't think you understand geography or history. The al-Qaeda army, the ISIS army, okay, is fighting against al-Assad. That's true. In Syria, that's true. But we want Assad out, okay?
Yes.
So if they cut his head off, that's fine with us.
But we don't want to support a terrorist group like them.
We're not supporting anybody.
Syria.
We're protecting ourselves. We're protecting the homeland, as the economists made quite clear, okay? Number two, they moved 11,000 men and vehicles and ammunition and whatever else you want from Syria into northern Iraq. All right, a distance of hundreds of miles in desert, Juan. No trees, no camouflage, no mountains, nothing. And you're telling me that the United States did not know that movement was happening with all of our satellite technology, with all of our CIA people on the ground in Baghdad and in other parts of Iraq with the Kurds. You're telling me they didn't know it? Everybody knows it.
I think they did know it, Bill, but again.
And as soon as they saw it, whack, and it didn't happen. Okay, Juan, that's the answer. You don't know. Mary Kathrine, go.
I was giving Mary Kathrine
No, I want Mary Kathrine to weigh in.
Here's the thing. On all three of the scandals that you brought up, and I would add the VA as well, the fact is that the president often is president passive voice. He is not, as you said, being president proactive when it comes to these really sticky issues. And in Iraq specifically, talking today, doing some interviews with Mika Brzezinski this morning, he said, you know, she asked, look, you said al-Qaeda was decimated. You said this was a stable situation in Iraq. And he said, well, it was. But sometimes stable things become unstable.
But
and there was no recognition of his
does.
role in that or our role in that.
There were enough newspaper reports coming out of there about all this falling apart. And then you have President Obama looking around and go, whoa, what happened there? Look, you got to be proactive in this world. You got to anticipate that bad things are going to happen. Let's go to the border, one. Okay, so you have now, we know the border's not secure. We were told it was. I actually bought that like an idiot. I admit it. You take your shots at me, everybody. When the Border Patrol people were telling me, oh, yeah, it's a much better border, I believe it. It isn't.
I think it's true.
It's a sieve. No, it's not. And they're taking people over on jet skis, Juan. Okay?
Hey,
that's how they're getting people in on
airplane.
jet skis.
Oh,
it's not secure.
You can take an airplane, Bill. Don't buy into that. Listen, that's a fable.
All I'm doing is looking at the numbers, Juan. Hundreds of thousands of people are crossing over illegally. That's not a secure border.
It's a net negative. It's a net negative right now. And again, you could say it's the economy, whatever, but it's a net negative. Now, these children coming over, I got to tell you, I'm with Kirsten Powers. I think those children are just like refugees that came from the Irish famine, came from Jews were being persecuted in Germany. They're escaping war and political instability.
We can't take everybody in the world.
America as we know it.
We can't take everybody in the world. The country's bankrupt, Juan. $17 trillion debt.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. I didn't hear all that money that went over to Iraq. You want to send more now, I think, right?
No, I just want to drop some bombs on them so we don't have to spend more money down the road when another big office building is hit in a major American city. Go ahead,
Well, let's
Mary
stand
Kathrine.
up for American values with those kids.
Juan, a couple things. Look. With the situation on the border, many of those who have come across have been interviewed. People have actually been surveying them to find out why they came. And it was not just about strife back at home. It was partly about the fact that they thought they would be able to stay, that people were selling that promise to them. And here's what I'm concerned about, because I'm concerned about having a humane reaction to a humanitarian crisis that our government is clearly not able to handle on the border. Here's my issue. the way that you deal with these children and the way, if they do indeed get to stay in America indefinitely, how do you end up not with the exact same humanitarian crisis in a month? That's my question, because you actually perpetuate the situation.
There's a bigger picture that we're gonna report on later on this week, and that is by accepting all of the people that are coming here, which is probably what's going to happen, about 75–80% will stay. You create an underclass of people. It's going to take a generation for them to be able to compete, because this is a very complex marketplace. We can't even support our own people, as Laura Ingraham has pointed out. We can't even have jobs for the, you know, wages are declining. So you're taking people with no skills, don't know the language, and you're creating an enormous underclass. And that's what you're doing. But I understand the humane argument, Juan.
Those kids are going to be American greats. They're going to come up and they're going to surprise you, say, oh, I didn't know how those kids got here. They got here in the Cuban boat lift. They got here from Jewish kids in Germany, and they become Einstein. Come on.
Some of them will, but there'll be a big underclass. Mary Kathrine, Juan, thank you. We would like you to vote on BillO'Reilly.com poll. Should the USA bomb the terrorist army, which is attacking Iraq, or should we stay out of it? All right. Please vote. We'll give you the results tomorrow. Directly ahead, the chaotic border. Does the Democratic Party really want to solve the problem, or are they benefiting? Later, Crowdhammer on President Obama and the Great American Retreat. Those reports after these messages.